Update in the murder-for-hire case stemming from the deadly shooting of a local father. Today, a judge held a hearing with attorneys and suspects to discuss two issues in the case. One of those requests asked to drop all charges against Shanna Garner. Garner and her estranged husband, Mario Fernandez Aldana, are accused of hiring a hitman to kill her ex-husband, Jared Bridegan. Bridegan was shot and killed in February of 2022. Mario Fernandez Aldana walked into the courtroom first with his hands shackled, wearing an inmate jumpsuit. Moments later, Shanna Garner walked in, also handcuffed, but she wore casual business attire in front of the judge. Shanna was seated just behind her estranged husband, Mario. Lawyers for Garner claim prosecutors intentionally violated attorney-client privilege, saying prosecutors gained access to electronic documents recovered from Garner's phones, computers, and iCloud that should have been protected under that attorney-client privilege.
The case law is that there has to be, if the state inadvertently gets information that is in fact attorney-client privilege, there has to be some type of mitigating scenario by the state of Florida.
Each of the attorneys for Garner and Zaldana want the state attorney's office off of the case over the alleged mishandling of what they both believe are attorney-client privileged communications. The prosecution argues there are two documents in those communications that should be admissible as evidence. Action News Jax law and safety expert Dale Carson, an attorney and former law enforcement officer with over 3 decades of experience, says both requests to remove the prosecution from the case and drop all charges against Garner likely will not be granted.
Will they be penalized for their behavior? Perhaps, but I don't see that as an ultimate eventuality. And this is just another step for the defense where you make an effort to identify problem areas in the government's case so that later, if necessary, you can appeal their behavior.
Ultimately, the judge will wait a few more weeks to decide on a ruling for those two issues in the case. The next hearing is April 8th. Henry Tenon is also a suspect in this case. He's already pleaded guilty to pulling the trigger. Court records show that Tenon rented a home from Mario Fernandez Aldana that he owned. We have much more, including the timeline of arrests, on actionnewsjax.com.